All right. So I have been seeing a couple of sketches online about these women that are getting upset with their guys because their ex passed away
Ah,
and they're grieving.
ah.
I don't understand how you
Skits?
can. Yeah, I think they're skits. To
Oh, but
me,
they're
they're
passing it off
staged.
as real.
Yeah, to me, they're
Everything's
staged
staged,
because
yeah.
I've seen a few of them.
I can't get past the phone being set up. In all of those, like, I'm about to, lie to my boyfriend in the car and stuff like that, and the phone's like right here, and they're just like, what? I can't get past that, but keep going.
So, what do you think about that? If you're married to someone or you're in a long-term relationship or a serious relationship with someone and their ex passes away
Mm-hmm.
and you see that they're visibly sad, they're crying and they want to go to the funeral, like they want to be a part of sending this person off. Do you feel that that's inappropriate in a relationship? I can tell by your face already.
No, my face is like that because I don't know.
Oh.
That's tough. Because, I mean, a part of me wants to be like, if somebody, you can have an ex that you've been with like 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like, I'm assuming a lot of these people are a little older, like in their 30s or 40s, just because if you're 20, you probably haven't been in that many relationships.
Right.
Who knows?
Mm.
Or that many super long term. Right. I've known people that were like from high school to college and stuff, and like in the very prominent years. But I mean, like
y'all in it 7 years, y'all together.
It's like a part of me wants. I feel like should be understanding because it's not like you can go back to them. They dead as hell. But like that person, if they were very significant to them, you can't just assume that every ex is like on bad terms, hate that person. Right. I'm not on bad terms with any of my exes. Right. So I think that assuming that every ex or important ex is just like dead to them anyways is a lot. But like if they just sob it and just like, I feel like I get why they would think that like, damn, do they still have feelings for them? Like, did they ever get over them? So it's tough. That is because death is like the most extreme, like
it's the most permanent.
Yeah, and it's a very understanding reason for somebody to be sad. But I don't. If you really upset about somebody dying, I don't see you being like, "Let me hide it to show face for this one person." That's tough. I honestly don't know.
She like calling his mom, talking to his mom about it, consoling her.
That's fine.
Hearing all the positive stuff about him, and the good times, reliving the good times.
That's tough. I mean, I think that there is a bit of selfishness to make it about you.
Right.
Like to be like, damn, they're going through something and they should be thinking about me. They shouldn't be crying around me, blah, blah, blah. They shouldn't be doing all this stuff around me. Because like if that person had a great relationship with the other person's family and could help and was that close, then it's like, you can't undo that, So I think that the only thing that they're upset about is like, why are you doing this if I'm here, And I think that that's a big thing is that everybody tries to make crazy stuff about them in the middle of it. But to be honest, like that's extreme. I personally, I don't know. It's a very interesting situation.
It is. I'm not on good terms with all of my exes, but most. And I don't talk to any of them really. But if I was in a relationship with someone and their ex passed away, and we were in a serious relationship, and their ex passed away and he was sad, I guess because I have that whole empathetic, the whole persona, like I really feel when my person is down or feels bad, it's like I can't find it in myself to be upset. Like, it just, like you said, they not gonna go back to him. Now, if they start acting weird, like on some like, I don't want to live without them type shit, I'm like, well, you've been living without them.
That's wild.
If I start seeing that kind of like
Crying a little too hard.
Yeah, you crying to the point where you acting like
I feel empty.
Like, I thought you had already moved on, but you was just like, maybe you was waiting for the time, But at the same time, like, for me, I think I was laughing because in one of the sketches, she was like, well, you can join her, And I was like, damn.
That's crazy.
She threatened to kill this fool.
Like, why would you stack onto his misery or her
Right.
misery? Like if you over here like slamming doors and they're just like, damn, like I can't. That's tough. Because honestly, I'm kind of like, anytime you hear about somebody passing, it's like a weird feeling in the air, regardless of how close they are, because how well you know somebody is kind of relative. If you watch somebody growing up, like Kobe, never, I met him one time, very briefly. People were sad like that was their family, because of their relationship, even though it wasn't personal, it was just how familiar they were with that person, So I think that anytime our mortality is kind of like we're reminded of it, I think that there's just like a weird feeling in the air and it makes you think about everything. Right. So I think there is a part of death that isn't specific to that person, because there are people who I've never met and never really watched like that. But when they pass, it's still kind of like, damn, you start thinking about yourself. You start thinking about other people. So
like Fulio.
Yeah, that's so random. But like, yeah, even like when you see like a random like actor or rapper die, it's just like, damn. And you just start thinking about like how it happened and how it could happen to anybody. So there is a part of you being bummed that isn't specific to that person. It could even...
It brings you back to reality sometimes. I think sometimes we'd be on autopilot, and when you hear about somebody passing away, then it's just like, damn, like this shit's not forever.
Yeah.
And so it just kind of brings death back to the forefront. And sometimes it makes you think like, well, the clock is ticking on you too.
Right.
So because I tend not to think about, I don't think about death every day.
Huh.
I don't even think about death every week. So
that must be nice.
I know. Is it not normal? People be thinking about death all the time.
It crosses my mind a lot.
It's fucking grim.
Yeah,
it's so grim. Like
not my own
really
death.
damper. It could just really damper.
Well, I mean, like I pray for good health for everybody around me and stuff like that, and I know that I feel like between social media and just life, I'm reminded about it a lot. know, so it is kind of like something that's always back there. That's kind of scary.
Yeah, it's not something that I like to think about. And when I pray for good health or I send like my friends like little positive manifestations and stuff like that, I still don't think about it because I feel like if I think about it too much, it will attract it. And so I guess there's a part of avoidance of the topic. I used to not be able to talk to my mom about, any type of arrangements, anything like when she wanted to talk about it. And I'm just like, well, this is not happening anytime soon. Let's not bring that energy over here. And she's like, Stephanie, we have to talk about, what's going to happen when I'm no longer here. And I'm like, no.
But if you're superstitious, you might think it you can attract it. But
I do think
I personally,
sometimes.
I feel like if you really believe in God, I feel like a part of me is just like, I can't summon that. That's not up to me. It's not like, damn, I don't want to say it. Damn, I don't want to say anybody I actually know. Bobelia passed because I was thinking about death too much. Like that's not up to me.
No, but I think that there is some energy that we put out that can come around full circle. sorry to use this, but the whole Fulio situation.
That's different.
It's different,
It's not like
but
he was
at the
thinking
same
of death.
time,
He was dissing dead people. And all
right?
types of
But
stuff.
how it happened, how he died on the 23rd when he was dissing somebody named 23.
I mean,
dude was on his birthday, and then he died on his birthday. I'm just saying there are things that people can put out now. Yeah, he was knocking on the door. He was knocking on death's door for a long time. But what I'm saying is sometimes it just things come full circle when you put certain energies out there. And I just try to avoid thinking about certain things because I do believe in the law of attraction. So I don't think that if I think like if it's a passing thought or something like that, I don't think that's going to necessarily be strong enough to attract something like that. But I feel like there's something in the air that if you obsess over certain things, you can like bring them to you. So I tell my mom, because my mom is kind of like a paranoid person when it comes to her kids. So if she doesn't talk to me for 3 hours, she's like getting paranoid that something happened. And I'm like, Mom, don't put that energy on me, please. Do not put that energy on me. I'm okay.
But if she's always been like that, she's always been like that?
Yeah, I would think so. But I kind of
and you're okay.
But I tell her like, please, like, don't do that.
So maybe thinking about it and being nervous about stuff doesn't put the energy out like that.
Yeah, but I try to help her.
You might be stressing out a little bit overly.
Not me. I just tell her stop.
Well, I mean, you're like, don't put that energy out on me. When really she's just like a protective, worried mother, which might not be a bad thing at all.
I think, but sometimes it's kind of irrational if you don't talk to your kid for 3 hours.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? So I try to help her through that because honestly, stress can lead to that.
Okay,
you
yeah.
know what I'm saying?
I
so it's like things that you got to help your parents with too, as far as I hear that fear never goes away. Once you become a parent, that level of fear never ever goes away. And so I think for me, I talk to my mom every day, multiple times a day, to settle that, and I just think that sometimes if we think about something, just obsess over it too much, that we shift how we interpret what happens to us.
Right.
And so I try not to think about death to the point where I don't really, but I still move cautiously. I still, I still do what I have to do to protect myself, but I have put it in, I know that it's going to happen. I don't have an irrational thought about it happening.
Well, yeah, I think everybody knows it's going to happen, but I think for the most part, who wants to sit around thinking about death all day? Right. That's emo as hell.
Right.
And I think that kind of goes back to what I was saying about how when somebody dies, the energies in it gets super weird because everybody knows it's going to happen. Everybody is avoiding it in their head, but then when it actually happens to somebody, it's like that veil is like opened, it's almost like everybody's thinking about it. It's kind of forced to the forefront. So to get back to the ex thing, I think that when you really break it down, kind of like how we did, there's a lot of reasons to be sad at death.
Right.
That doesn't necessarily, it's not really A to B. This person, the boyfriend is sad, which means he still has feelings. There's a whole bunch of other stuff. There's, like, I feel like even my exes, I'll be sad if one of them died,
Right.
But it wouldn't necessarily be like, damn, I'm not over them. It could be like, damn, they were a really good person, It could be like, damn, I know her mom, and her mom must be going through it. If they had kids or something, like, damn, they have kids. There's like a lot of reasons to be upset that somebody passed. So I think if somebody gets over themselves and just be like, damn, they must have been cheating, or he must have still, been in love with her. I think there's a lot of reasons that, somebody can be sad.
For sure. I would definitely be sad if some.
Damn, there'd be some that you wouldn't care, or some you would be happy.
No. I will never be happy about. I won't say never. Actually, never. Even when like serial killers, I don't find joy in death. But there are two that
You wouldn't care.
if no. No. It's just like if it happens, it happens. I wouldn't
Damn.
be the type. I wouldn't cry. I wouldn't go to the services. I would wish them well in their afterlife. But that's as far as that goes. But for the most part, I would be sad. I would. If my most recent ex passed, I would be very sad.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very sad. And I would have those. I would cry. I would go through a whole like emotional roller coaster because when my most recent ex from several years ago was my best friend for 15 years.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah.
So there was like other elements to it.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. So we had a whole solid friendship before the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So if something happened, I would definitely be, and I wouldn't want to feel that like insecurity coming from my current relationship to be like, well, why the fuck are you sad? Like, damn,
Right.
This is permanent. This is the most permanent thing ever. And so it is very selfish, like you said, it's very selfish to make that about you when your role as a partner is to be supportive and kind of help your person through that, But like I said, if they're going into whole like
throwing themselves on the casket.
Yeah.
It should have been me. It should have been my current bitch. Like, damn.
Hell no. Damn, not my current. Woo.
I'd trade them right now.
Woo. All right.
Oh my God. I thought we weren't doing this.
I'm going to slide through it real quick.
You wrote that just now?
I did.
Okay, for context, she pulled up saying she had no bars, which I already knew, but
whoa.
I guess you wrote some real
How
quick.
I catch a stray like that?
So we're going to see the difference between prepared and unprepared.
Unprepared. Call me Doogie Howser.
All right, I already see a difference.
The way I'm checking these niggas. Give me the scope. I have your chest tight like Rod Digger.
First of all, I haven't heard that name in a very long time. Did she have a song called Tight Chest?
Tight. And I say, give me the scope, stethoscope, doctor, Doogie Howser.
I don't think doctors call it a scope.
It's a stethoscope.
Right. That's what they call it.
But I can call it a scope if I'm referencing the doctor.
I get what you did.
You get what I did.
I didn't get the reference.
You're just hating.
No, I didn't get the reference because no doctor calls it a scope, so it's not really a double.
If I say Doogie Howser and you know Doogie Howser,
yeah,
then when I say scope after that, you should be able to put the two together and be like, oh, okay, stethoscope, chest. You put the stethoscope, the scope on the chest. I have your chest tight like Rod Digger.
Rod Digger references in 2024 is wild.
Hey, look.
Shout out to anybody who understood that.
You're a hater.
Moving on. Thick facts. We can't go without them. I'm tired of running out of time. So we might just start doing it like this.
We should.
We did a fact. I had a fact about dogs. It's doing pretty well online.
Yeah, good job. Good job.
All right, since we started morbid, my fact is morbid.
Okay.
All right. I'm sorry if I mispronounced this. I'm going to try. In Japan, Johatsu refers to people who disappear due to pressures like failed marriages, debt, and job loss. They abandon their lives and live anonymously off the grid.
Damn.
Specialized companies called night movers assist them in vanishing completely.
Damn.
There's a phone number for this.
So it's like a different version of like assisted suicide.
Assisted disappearing.
Like Dr. Kevorkian.
So Johatsu translates to evaporation.
Damn.
But refers to a profound social phenomenon. People who voluntarily vanish, leaving behind their past lives to escape debt, shame, abuse, or personal crisis. They're known as evaporated people. And they embody the pressures of a highly conformist culture. And there's specialized agencies that help them disappear to the legal and ethical dilemmas their choices create. But it also reflects Japan's deep societal and psychological challenges. These invisible stories reveal the lengths some go to seek a fresh start and the intricate web of support networks that aid their new beginnings.
So it's kind of like protective housing.
Like protective custody?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they kind of like move you from one grid to the other. I think that just changes your name and location.
Mm-hmm.
This is like you're
non-existent.
evaporated.
That's
which is crazy that, like it said, it's a.
Did it say crimes in there?
No,
Oh.
no crimes, because that'd be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's now like, and that just shows like the culture in Japan. Like, there's a lot of pressure if there's actual companies that you can call to just be like, I'm trying to evaporate.
How is that not illegal?
I'm out of here.
It's like,
right.
So the government has no trace of you anymore either? Like,
I guess not. But I mean, the examples is mostly based off of like shame, like failed marriages, job loss, abuse, personal crisis. The only one that I saw was like debt.
mm-hmm.
So I guess you can get out of debt by going off the grid completely. But I mean, there's like bankruptcies and stuff like that you can do to get out of debt legally.
That should be on your credit for 7 years.
I don't think, I don't think that.
That'll put you even more.
What?
Put you even more in the dumps.
What?
Having a bankruptcy on your credit.
I mean, that's why I guess niggas evaporate.
Yeah. That was a good fact.
Thank you.
Super good fact. Mine is a little less grim.
Okay.
And I'm about to sound like that dude that was like, in the beginning. That's what I'm about to sound like right now with this fact. Okay. The fear of long words is called
what?
Hippopotomonstrossesquipedaliop.
Try that again.
I want you to try it.
Hippopotomonstrossesquipedaliop.
So, do you think you sounded better than me?
Yeah.
No, you didn't.
Hippopotomonstrossesquipedaliop. Who the hell?
Quipedaliop.
Why? Why would you? If you knew that you were making words that you want people to say, why would you go for that? That's like, what is it? Anti-disestablishmentarianism? The longest word ever.
Oh, actually, it might be a longer word. It does cut off because there's a PH and O after that. Oh, phobia. Phobia is the last part of the word.
Oh.
Hippopotomonstrossesquipedaliophobia.
I think that last little syllable makes the syllable before it easier to. Because I didn't know how to. When it ended with P, it was just like dilio.
Deliophobia.
So it's not a P sound, it's the F. Okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of. It's just crazy. The things that people are afraid of. I could see if that word popped up while you was reading out loud in class in 6th grade or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But
that would
at
never
the same
pop
time,
up in 6th grade.
Right. Well, have you ever watched the spelling bees?
That's
the National Spelling Bee?
Outside of school?
Yeah, but they're still like grade school age.
Oh, yeah.
The winners be like
little
12.
Child geniuses, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thread time.
Thread time.
The thread I brought is, what is a privilege that people act as if it isn't?
Ooh. That's nice.
Since we're talking about being grateful, kind of. That's a theme.
I'm kind of still in my grieving grim.
Okay.
So my thread is, do men grieve after a breakup?
Okay. I'm sure I know the answers to a lot of those. There's a lot of things. It's mainly avoidance.
That was definitely a common theme.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay, you want to play rock paper scissors?
Okay, Rochambeau-ish.
And it's the 4th one, right?
Oh, and ours is.
No, let's go back to rock paper scissors. I don't even remember that.
Okay.
Rock paper scissors shoot. Bow, got your ass.
Mm-hmm.
What is a privilege that people act as if it isn't?
All right.
All right. The first few is waking up.
Yes.
Definitely.
Pop them eyes open.
Pop them eyes over. Okay. Being able to walk around freely. I like this one a lot. Getting old. Y'all love calling people old and using age as a weapon when getting old is the goal.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. So many people are dying in their like 20s and stuff, which is crazy. Being able-bodied in good health and of sound mind.
Yep, that was one of mine. The sound mind.
Love this one. Really liking your job. I feel like that is a big part of why a lot of people are depressed and going crazy on weekends, partying and stuff like that. Because like if you wake up every single day and then you just dread getting out of bed, dread going to a place, dread the place, and you're there for 9 hours, 5 days, maybe 7 days a week, that's rough.
Yep, and that I've experienced that, and boy,
man,
I missed out on a lot. So when I be like, I don't know, it's because it honestly, there's a chunk of your life that's so consumed with that joyous things just they may slither in, but they slither right back out, and you can't even like do things that you want to do because you're so tired. You're tired from being frustrated.
What job was that? Was that your worst job ever?
Yeah. That was I worked the sex offenders, working with sex offenders.
Therapy?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say the job itself, but there were aspects of the job
heavy.
that was very draining. So
yeah,
after a long day of talking about inappropriate sex,
that's awful.
It's like you have
and
to
you just go home like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And then messed up.
And it's crazy because actually like with that job, working with the kids themselves, the offenders themselves, was kind of the best part of the job. Everything else, the paperwork,
the bad part?
Some staff. Yeah, sometimes your job itself is not the problem. It's the people you work with.
Yeah,
that's really the problem.
The problem was the sex offenders and hearing those horrible stories.
Well, once you kind of get over, okay, you did this, you're here, and now it's time to make you better. If you kind of harp on just digging your claws into them for what they did, you can't help them get better. So you have to...
Yeah, but you still have to listen to that shit every day.
You do, but there's a part of you, once you know the story and you hear it enough times, that you're like, okay, it kind of loses its punch a little bit. Because if I hear a story 10 times, it can't have a punch every single time if I'm trying to help this person get past that. So it kind of loses its steam every time you hear it a little bit. It's like watching a movie 10 times, the 10th time, So, but I'm just saying, like, jobs like that where you're there sometimes for 10 hours, 12 hours, and then you come home and you're like, damn, like, I am drained. It's like the rest of the night is like, and then the weekends are like, oh my God, I have to figure out how to squeeze some joy in here before, because you start feeling that stress Sunday night.
Yeah.
That's
crazy. I'm so lucky I never had that problem because before All Deaf, I worked at a laser tag arena. And even though it was stressful because like an 8-hour shift, you might have like 2 birthday parties, just like a whole bunch of badass little kids. But at the end of the day, it's like, if I complained to you about that and then you complained about the sex offenders thing, I'd be like, well, there was this one kid who was loud.
Yeah, you got to be able to balance that kind of stuff.
Well, here's a good flip on having a job that you're miserable at, having a job.
Period.
Privilege. Genuine friendships, common sense, siblings. That's a good one. Wealth opportunities, growth, maturity, and power. Power is an interesting one, right?
Yeah. What you all
super villain type shit.
All right.
Getting back home safely. That'd be a good one. Because, we've all had them nights that we're just like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did I get here? You wake up in the morning like, I made it.
That's crazy. having a sane mind,
Mm-hmm.
being able to afford basic needs on a monthly basis. Very, very, very underrated.
Mm-hmm.
A loving, supportive, tight family.
Have you ever had not enough gas to get through the week, so you had to like figure out a call out day
A call out day
a day to call out
from work.
from work because you knew you weren't going to make it every day because you didn't have enough gas.
You were a commuter too, huh?
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, I never
Mhm.
really lived far away from where I worked.
Mhm.
Nah, man, even All Def was hella close.
Having to budget gas.
No, I've never had to call out.
It's like you got to drive a little slower on the side.
But wouldn't you rather take the bus there? Because calling out
Bus?
leads to less money.
Well, if I was used to taking the bus or public transportation like that, then yeah. But I never grew outside of the school bus. I didn't grow up with public transportation like that, so it wasn't the safest form of transportation to me.
I feel that. Driver's license, water, clean water, hot water, full fridge, a stable roof over your head. Someone said traveling to countries while people indigenous to the land can't.
Ooh, that's really good.
Damn. Never thought
That's
of it like
really good.
that. That is actually pretty crazy. Okay, this is my favorite one so far. Attending a performing arts school or a school that teaches languages, subjects, and electives that teach the energies and information we need to apply in real life, like nutrition, how to build a house, or do taxes. I definitely never learned how to buy a house. How to build a house. How to buy a house or do taxes. My school had me in calculus when I said I want to be a professional dancer. That's crazy. I mean, I can only really relate to the part that just, attending a performing arts school or a school that teaches like something outside of the regular curriculum. Because I remember when I was out of school, we used to go to schools and like talk to the kids and stuff. And it's so crazy. Like I went to a performing arts middle school and high school. So even though I did see like budget cuts, like right after we left, like some of the music got cut, electronics music got cut. And so that's when I was just like, damn, what's my school gonna do now? But it wasn't until I went to like schools in like the inner city that had like nothing, not even like a playground. It was just like in a building, or there was one that had a yard, but it was an elementary school where a lot of the kids were like selling drugs and bringing guns to school. And I was just like, yeah, right. And I was just like, damn, like they barely had the staff to support teaching them the regular subjects the right way. Right. So it's like going to a school where you can have like a music class, a dance class, like something outside of, I mean, obviously the taxes and buying a house should be in all of them, but just something that could motivate them to do something that would like, really engage their brains. Because not every kid is just like, I'm teaching you math. What can I do with that? You can be a math teacher. Like that's not going to inspire a lot of people. And it's still be teaching social studies, learning about hunter gatherers and stuff like that. Like kids need something else.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
That's definitely a huge
like
privilege.
Business practices, like taxes and
that should be
stuff
a standard
for sure. Like financial literacy, that stuff should come. We should start that in elementary school.
For real, though, because it's that important, But maybe reading first.
Well, yeah. Got to crawl before you walk, right? Okay, so I would say, for me, mine is very, very basic. And I think about this all the time. I am fascinated by the ability to communicate. So the fact that we are able to speak to each other and understand, decipher, interpret, and create a thought that resonates with the other person, like for me, is just it's fascinating, and the fact that we have the ability to communicate with each other is, I think, an underrated. It's something underrated in life
Yeah, for sure.
because everybody doesn't have the ability to do that. So there are people who don't have communication skills, who can't decipher things, who can't speak.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
There are
it's
people
crazy.
who can speak who don't have communication skills.
Right. I was just it's very grim, but I was just watching it last night. There's this new documentary on Netflix called, I think it's called like Tell Me You Love Me, but it's pretty grim. It was about I believe she was a one-on-one aide for a nonverbal autistic kid, but she expressed her love in ways that was extremely inappropriate
Oh my
and went to
God.
prison for it.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
nonverbal. And then when I was just watching like how he grew up and just seeing he has cerebral palsy. And it just made me appreciate the fact that, you know, as a child, I was able to learn language and be able to interpret and create a thought based off of someone else. To volley in conversation, to me, is just it's amazing. And so that's just something that I've always thought about, like, because I can't imagine not being able to communicate. You know, there's people with advanced stages of dementia whose communication is just it doesn't connect anymore.
Yeah.
You know, and you can if you've had a conversation with someone who has dementia, you'll kind of see like, oh, that this sentence has nothing to do with the conversation, and it's just like random thoughts that are put out there, and the ability to interpret kind of gets lost, and it's really frustrating and sad to see. And a lot of people that I've seen have become upset, angry. I think that's kind of something in that field, like people with dementia get really mean. And I wonder if it has something to do with, you know, not being able to communicate your thoughts. You know,
Yeah.
when you're a baby, you
Or
can't
your filter's
communicate.
out too, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
When you're a baby, you can't communicate, so you cry.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you cry for every single thing. You might have a different cry for every single thing because you can't verbally communicate like your needs. And so
It's definitely a privilege, yeah.
yeah, it's something I don't really take for granted. I think about often.
Mine's not as deep. Nigga AC. AC. I cannot concentrate. I can't do anything when it's hot. And that's coming from someone who grew up in Los Angeles. So it's like, I remember the first time I went to the South, first time I went to places like Atlanta and Florida, just like places that are just normally really, really, really hot.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously I wasn't used to it because I wasn't used to the humidity. But, you know, like when I toured like colleges that just didn't have AC, or just like when I talked to people who, you know, said that they were in situations or grew up in situations where it was just hot all the time, and they just, there was really just nothing they can do about it but deal with it. And then like
drink some water.
Man, I'd be seeing like these schools in Africa with like dirt floors and stuff, and they're just learning amazing stuff. Like I saw this one teacher who was teaching them how to use computers without a computer, you know, like there was no computers, but he was just drawing like the interface and like everything, and everybody was just like sweaty. You could tell it was just like really uncomfortable in there, but people still like lock in and get things done. So I was just like, man, AC is really like just being comfortable temperature wise when it's not comfortable outside is a very big deal.
The ability to cool down is definitely a privilege, because whew, I'm a sweater. So if I step outside Like, I'm not one of those people, those girls. I don't know why. There's a lot of girls who have a hard time sweating.
Mm-hmm.
I am not that.
Gross.
You know, it's not gross.
I'm just kidding.
But that's an underrated, definitely underrated. Because there's some people, I've been to their homes, and while it might be comfortable in the winter and fall and parts of spring, once it gets to summer, those houses are insufferable.
I won't even go to certain cities because, like,
even the car.
The worst. Oh my God, that's bad too. But at least you're moving. You can roll the window down.
Mm-hmm.
The worst thing is like going to a hotel, and even if the hotel is nice, the AC ain't really popping like that.
Ooh,
like
yeah.
a hotel should get freezing fast, you know. But when it's like hot and the AC is kind of like lagging, you wake up all drenched and stuff. Ugh. I can't sleep. I can't do nothing.
The only thing about the car, I will say, even though you have the ability to roll the windows down, I'm telling you, if it's hot outside and the hot wind does not help. That happened to me on the way to Vegas. We were driving in a van. We were in an Astro van.
Weird.
And the AC went out. And it felt like Death Valley.
Ugh.
Like, it was so hot. I mean, our jeans were soaked. By the time we got somewhere, it was hot. Like, we were sweating. And it was like rolling the windows down made it hotter inside. So it's kind of like, damn if you do, damn if you don't. So,
all right, what you got?
Oh, yeah. You ready for some toxicity?
Of course. We need to get you in a better mood. You've just been grim from the jump.
It's just one episode. Do men grieve after a breakup? They seem fine.
That's the goal.
Our friend at Top Shelf Getaways said, for years.
So Darius?
Mm-hmm. Well, Top Shelf Getaways, their account commented. And of course, I'm going to try to avoid these because it felt like the first 30 responses I saw were from women responding, you know, when we ask.
Y'all always ask men questions and then fill up the comments yourselves.
I kind of hate that though. This guy said, yeah, and if we don't show it, best believe it's a war going on in our head.
War is wild.
Good. If there's somebody said, why are the women answering? I'm trying to see the comments from the men.
There you go. Because y'all don't know how to listen.
Knock it off. All right. We be torn to pieces too. We just don't take the time to heal. We start with the next to fill the void caused by the hurt.
Facts.
Y'all
That's what I said. Avoidance.
That's why y'all be starting like all these women's like villain era. The villain origin story starts with an unhealed man.
Because we weren't ready.
Lil Duval said, I be going through it for 6 minutes.
That's a lie.
It's probably because he's so short.
Wow.
It doesn't take. I throw on some R&B and pick a wall to slide down slowly until I hit the floor.
See, he's probably the best one at this because he's just letting it happen.
Right. And you can kind of tell sometimes when a guy ain't over something because he just be all over the place emotionally. This dude said, we grieve during the relationship.
What, the next one or during the current one?
No, during the current relationship.
That's funny.
That's messed up. Yep, we grieve, we cry, we beg, and be dead wrong. I've been that guy.
And be dead wrong?
Why are y'all like this? We grieve in other women's DMs.
That's insane. Grieve is a crazy word for that. That's mad funny.
This dude said, we cry in the shower.
That's crazy.
Have you ever cried in the shower?
I don't think so. That's wild. It's a good place to cry, though, I guess, because it's like hidden tears. But I could see why, like, if a wave of grief, like actual grief, because I hear that comes, like, that just hits you out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
But to get in the shower and then cry is too sad for me.
I've definitely cried in the shower, and it is quite liberating. It makes you cry a little harder, though.
So you don't got to clean up.
You can just let it go.
Just go right into the
you can just let it go. You ain't worried about no makeup. You ain't worried about lashes. You ain't worried about nothing. Just the water on your face, and you could just you do the ugly cry because ain't nobody gonna see you either
or hear you. Mm-hmm. You got the mask of the water.
Mm-hmm. We do actually. I've had days where I don't eat, sleep, or want to interact.
Damn, I've never been in a breakup that bad where I didn't eat.
Well, this guy said, man, I lost 20 pounds within the first 3 weeks.
Wow.
Like, why y'all do this to yourselves?
To yourselves? Who said it was their fault?
If he lost 20 pounds within the first 3 weeks, a lot of these sounds like yeah.
So you don't think you can grieve a relationship that you end?
I think that you can, but I don't think it's as hurtful as if someone ends the relationship with you that you weren't ready to end yourself. You thought you had more time to be a fuck person because, I mean, we could be fuck girls too, you know? So I think some people think like, oh, I'm going to keep doing X, Y, and Z, and they love me so much that they going to put up with it. I'm not willing to, get rid of this relationship so I can play. But ultimately she finds out about the games and she ends it and you there like, oh, wait.
Do you think that's the only example of this?
No, I feel like when people are that emotional about it, like losing 20 pounds, unless she cheated and you caught her and you cut,
that's what I'm
the
thinking.
Relationship, that can be a thing too. But it sounds like with some of these, we grieve in other women's DMs, like we don't take the time to heal. We're already on to the next. To me, it kind of sounds like that's an avoidance of responsibility, emotional responsibility on your part.
I've been sad about relationships I've ended.
I think that you can be.
It's just the absence of that person.
Yeah, I definitely think that you can be. I mean, I've been sad about relationships that I've ended, but I've actually never had someone end a relationship with me.
You never got dumped?
No, I haven't. But I would imagine if I was in it and he was just like, you know what? This is not working. I'd imagine that I'd be a bit more distraught than me getting to a point where I'm done. Because I've already, like the dude said, we grieve during the relationship.
Yeah.
I start grieving the breakup before I break up.
Because y'all be like set in stone. It's almost like you guys, because I feel like there's two forms of breakup. There's one that's like emotionally driven because the hurt is fresh, and you end up getting back together. You have like a fight and then get back together. Then there's just the one where the other person is just done. You can see it in their face. They're just like, I'm not even in it. And either they cut it off and there's no turning back, or they step out.
I feel like the more hurtful one is when. Now, I have been in relationships where I felt like he wasn't as attracted to me, like his attraction changed for me. And that shit really hurts because it's like if you're like in it and he floats your boat, he still gets the wheels turning for you and you feel like you don't do the same for him. Like that right there, sometimes it makes you feel like, well, he's not going to do it, so maybe I need to end this. And when you feel like you might have to end a relationship that you're not ready to because the other person might not have the guts to do so, for me, it's like, selfish or not selfish? Selfish or not selfish?
Because there's not even really a reason or
It's
a
just like I
tangible
can
reason.
tell, like you got a full foot and 3 toes out the door.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so let me.
That's hard
This
to
is
do.
Sparta you
3
and
toes.
just your foot is kind of to the side.
Uh-huh.
You know, 1.5 feet out the door. It's like you just rip the Band-Aid off, and I mean it sucks. It sucks, but I feel like those are more distraught when it happens to you. This guy says, no need to grieve. There's too much sand in the beach to stay stuck on one end that the waves took back. Okay, you man.
God damn, that got so corny. He could have just said there's other sand at the beach.
Right. There's too much sand at the beach.
He tried to be poetic and failed.
He said, yes, in the gym. I do think that's a thing.
That's a huge thing.
Because that glow up, that after breakup glow up, be crazy.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
Somebody said,
y'all be shaving y'all hair off. Oh, this energy that she got. Yeah.
The big chop is a thing. I can say that I've done it. This guy said, look at all the angry women answering for us in the comments.
Shut up. Y'all just need to shut up sometimes. If the post starts with fellas, just go in the comments and read. Y'all be like, fellas, no. Oh yeah, click. Shut up.
This girl said, yeah, they find new coochie. I'm like, damn, girl, just listen. This dude say, yes, we do. If we deeply loved her, it took me like 4 years to get over my ex. This guy said, only for one girl. The rest I haven't thought about for a second.
So he did grieve. He's just over one of them.
I haven't heard this one. We grieve about failing our children with the wrong mother or for not keeping the family together. So I hadn't seen the parental aspect of.
If you lose your family, then that grieve is going to happen a long time through your kids. But picking the wrong mom or dad, oof, that's a grieve that, that's forever.
Mm-hmm. This guy said, depends. My ex, I left the house after 10 years of marriage and didn't shed a tear. The lady I'm dating now says she was leaving and I couldn't breathe. Damn, what you doing, bro?
That's crazy. That's pretty nuts.
Okay, so how do you grieve?
I think that the most upset I've been did linger, but I feel like this is what niggas do. No, you know what? I feel like this is what people do, because I know women sometimes relationship hop. They'll just pop up with a new full boyfriend, but like niggas will be like, let's go out, and just like try to do like random stuff.
What's random?
Random booty.
Okay.
And I think both of those is like emotionally pushing off how you currently feel, but you think that would push it off forever, but you're just postponing it. Like, I saw this meme that I feel like wrapped it up pretty perfectly. It'd be like a girl breakup is like, it ends, she's miserable for like a few weeks, and then after that, she's good. And then that same timeline happened, those 2 weeks that they were miserable, that dude is, in the streets. And then after that, they're miserable.
Right.
So they just pushed it past the part where it maybe could have been fixed, like her.
Because it's hard for us to get up under somebody while you're just like, you're stuck on it.
Right.
If I'm grieving, I don't want no dick. Like, get away.
That's the differentias.
Me. Yeah.
So while you guys are going through it, the niggas are in the streets, which actually makes it worse for y'all because y'all are seeing that while you're still hurting. But then what flips is that when we start hurting, y'all in the streets or locked up. And then we just like, oh shit,
Y'all start seeing that watch on the dinner table.
Oh shit.
That hand with the tats.
That was so random, but that's true. And I think that in both cases, even like girls who relationship hop, I think it's just like we have really a big, I feel like we just don't want to face our emotions. You know, we don't want to be upset. You know, I think there's a lot of maturity in just sitting in it. You know, like literally, like being upset, letting yourself being upset so that it can pass because it's gonna happen. You know, so for me personally, I came up really, really good at putting it off to the point where I didn't even think it was going to happen. I thought I was just good. And I've never really been hung up like that. But I will say that something will end and I'll be like, okay, that's fine. And then it's not until way later that I was just like, damn, you know. There's only probably maybe two that I remember that like, it was just like, man, this sucks, you know. I really like spending time with them because I feel like I've dated such cool women that like you were saying, like there is a huge element of being good friends, you know, because I'll just be like with them all the time doing fun shit. So, you know, there's even a part of me that's just like, when everything is fine, I'm like, damn, this is gonna suck when it ends.
Oh no!
Because it's like, well, I'm realistic. Like at some point, it's gonna end. So I'll be like,
have to be realistic?
That is realistic.
That's a pessimist thought.
Most relationships end. That's not pessimistic. That's based on stats.
No, because if you start thinking about the end while everything is good, that is pessimism.
No, it's
because
not.
you could be optimistic, like, damn, I really like this person. I hope that this can go X, Y, and Z. For you to be like, this is great, everything's happening. You have that moment, that pause moment in the movie, like, this is gonna suck when it ends.
Well, exactly. I mean, that goes back to the beginning of the episode. Sometimes it's like when you have like a parent or a grandparent or somebody older, and you everything is fine, everybody's healthy, and you just love them so much. I feel like that thought still happens. Like, damn, it's gonna be tough.
But I think that's different because we think about death. That's about death. This is about
a relationship death.
No,
that shit's in the back. No. That shit's in the back of your mind too.
No, I guess I'm just different because if everything is going well like that, I hope that it doesn't. So I don't think like, oh, this is gonna suck when it ends. It's just like, okay, I hope this is my person because this is everything that I've wanted it to be.
And that's setting yourself up for failure too.
No,
you're just like,
it's not.
Because y'all be like 2 weeks in, this is my husband. I'm not dating until I find my forever person, and then y'all be devastated as hell when it don't work. When it's like most relationships don't work.
But I don't think that's a healthy thought process to have within the first 2 weeks, month, 2 months, or even 3 months of dating someone. I feel like it takes a little bit more time, at least for me, to get to that. It takes a lot more time. So if I get to the point where I'm like, damn, I hope that this can be my forever person. It's not somebody that's been around for a month or two, because I don't even feel like that person is comfortable around me within the 2 month mark. And I know that I'm not comfortable around them. So until you see me in my wig, under the wig braids, with the bonnet, the eye things, the eye masks, until we doing skincare stuff together, until we doing like shit together that I feel comfortable showing the other side, that I don't feel comfortable showing everybody, then you don't even qualify.
I get that. But I also think that, like, statistically, because I typically learn from other people, when you think about how most relationships, and not even just like fail, they just end, and then you think about the people who thought the forever thing get married, the divorce rate is going crazy. So it's like, I feel like more people, and this is while we're on a Grimm episode, I feel like more people would be happy if they just kind of accepted, like, this is like, instead of just like handcuffing themselves to somebody and being like, I hope this is forever. If it's not, I'm going to be devastated. As opposed to like, I remember I was in my 20s, like, I tried to be like, this is a great relationship for this part of my life. You know what I mean? Because I wasn't thinking like, oh, I'm
Ooh,
going
I
to
bet
be
you
with them
be
for.
breaking hearts and
But I think that
taking names.
that's why
boy.
I think everybody would be happy if they were just like, if they just accepted the fact that they're like, I'm 25, I'm 30. This is a great relationship for this part of my, because people just naturally, even if something horrible doesn't happen, sometimes they naturally grow apart because people change so much, you know? And I get it. Like the hardcore married people are going to be like, you got to reintroduce yourself every 5 years. Perfect. No, that works for some people, but a lot of times it doesn't, clearly based on the statistics.
I feel like that is a more single male driven, forever single male driven mindset.
No, it's not. It's looking at research and the people around you.
Now put yourself in a woman's perspective.
Okay.
Childbearing years are a thing. If you're hopping from a 5-year relationship here, a 5-year relationship there, like when do you find that person to have children with, to get married, to move in with? Like you got to move into a new house, everything. And then aging happens. So at some point in time, for a woman, aging happens.
Right.
And when it starts happening for you guys will just go find somebody younger. You know what I'm saying? But when you're a woman and you're aging, you're having kids, and so now you have relationships that are forever relationships with some of the guys. Like think about it, if you had a kid every 5 years with somebody, and you're 15 years in, three different kids with 3 different baby daddies, and then you going into, you're not looked at as prime.
No, I get it.
You know what I'm saying? So the older you get, that mindset doesn't really work for women.
It does, because again, look at the people around us. Look at the research. Women are having babies with niggas they barely know anyways, right? They're having babies with niggas that they think they know, and then it ends up being a disaster. You see it on social media all the time. I hate my baby daddy, blah, blah, blah. And that's just about picking the wrong person. So if that's happening anyways, all I'm saying is that the mind state of like, this is great for this part of my life, that could lead to a baby, that could lead to marriage and forever. I'm just saying that initial mind state, instead of just saying like, I'm going to make this work forever, and then it doesn't, and then that person's depressed or, you know what I mean?
I guess I don't have a problem with being optimistic about any relationship that you're being in that has a positive trajectory to then like think about it being almost like a glass ceiling, like this is gonna end and it's gonna
just
suck.
Because it might, but it's like, I think that if something works out forever and you're just like, damn, we've been together 50 years and this is still great, that being a surprise, it I think is more healthy, because a lot of times that is very rare, so if you're just like, damn, I lucked up, but even if you don't, if you pick your people wiser, and like you said, the aging, the babies and stuff like that, and you're just like, man, I see this as being like, maybe it doesn't last forever, but if I were to have a kid, I wouldn't mind having a kid with them. So even if it doesn't work out, you still have a somewhat ideal situation, because you don't hate that person. You guys have a good co-parenting situation. And even if it doesn't work out, which it might, you still had a different mindset going into it, instead of like, damn, I'm getting up there with it, I just need to have a baby with somebody, and then that turns into misery.
I don't know. I think just from a woman's perspective, I just can't. I just don't see it like that. And for women, I don't think that it really resonates the same way it resonates with.
I get it.
Someone who, and like I said, it has a lot to do with your mindset and how you view relationships, period.
Right.
And where you want to be with a relationship, period. So somebody who kind of has that mindset of, I don't want to be in a relationship, I don't want to be in a committed this, that, no matter pretty much who I find, is gonna have that type of mindset, versus somebody who's like, I do want to, get in something, have a long-term establishing, building relationship. And I feel like when you have put in a certain amount of effort, it allows you to get through the tough times. And I feel like sometimes maybe with that mindset, every 5 years or something like that, if things get tough, it's kind of like a way to just jump ship, not understanding that every relationship stuff is gonna get tough. And if
For
you
sure.
make the I feel like if you make the habit of just being prepared to always leave, I feel
I didn't
like
say
you're
prepared to leave. I just
No,
said
no,
that
I'm not
there
saying
may
that you
be
did.
natural ways that it's going to end based on how
Mhm.
every relationship just be ending.
But what I'm saying that the way you described it to me is like a prepared to leave type deal, when sometimes I feel like in relationships there's hills and valleys, and sometimes even in that valley you may lose a little attraction to your person, and think that it's the end, not knowing that you can get through that. And
So you
I
don't
feel
think
like
there are
some
people that are stuck in that and they're just like, we have to make this
Mhm.
work, have to make this work, when it's not healthy for both of them, and
I
it would
do.
be healthier to just split up?
I do think that some relationships are like that, but I also think that there are some that they push through that stuff, and they talk about how beautiful it was, how the relationship became more beautiful after they pushed through some of those tough times. I definitely think not everybody is compatible, and people don't always choose the right partner.
Mhm.
But I feel like I think even now, more so than ever, it's the easiest to kind of just jump out of a relationship and be like, okay, I want something fresh and new, when you've been building and building and building with someone, and then it's like, oh, well, I might not be interested anymore, or this person is kind of tickling my fancy a little bit more, and I just think that always keeping your options open like that, I don't think is the best
I think
to me.
you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. I'm not saying ready to jump. I'm not saying keeping your options open. I'm just saying being open to the fact that if you look around, I don't think it's pessimistic to understand the fact that the relationship that you're in may not work out forever. I don't think that's pessimistic. I think that's realistic. I think
it's
that if
only
you just see,
pessimistic while things are great to have that mindset. That's the only thing.
not
I was
really.
saying.
I mean, I think it's a perfect time to talk about this, because in the beginning we were saying, like, yes, it might be pessimistic to think about death, but everybody knows it's going to happen. Now, that's an extreme example, but I'm just saying, based on everything around us and how just humans are with each other, a lot of relationships don't work out. It's not pessimistic to just think that these two people were perfect for that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll end on this. I personally think that
Mm-hmm.
I personally think that it's pessimistic for women to just constantly be thinking about being left for a younger woman.
Mm-hmm.
I get that that's fully realistic and that happens a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also like, I don't personally think that a good woman is just off the shelf when she gets up there. You know, I think it's crazy to think that that a woman in her 40s, 50s, even 60s, 70s, whatever, I don't think that it's impossible for them to find somebody just because there are
not.
young women out. It's I get why women think that, but it's also like, men deal with that too. You can always be left for a taller nigga, a stronger nigga, a richer nigga, like that's not even age dependent. That's just always, So I think that just to be hung up on like, I need to lock this in because it could be stolen by my relationship can be stolen by somebody, or this and that. I think that that's pessimistic. I think that thinking that just like, man, this is great for now, and then if it turns into something else, it's a pleasant surprise. I think that that's just a mentally safer place to be.
I think that there's when you say like you can understand why women would think that and feel like that because it happens a lot. I think that can't be just put into the realm of pessimistic thinking, because if it happens a lot, then it's fully realized as a woman who starts to age and gets to that point. And just think about the messages that are put out there for women who are aging. If you're not, if you're 35 with no kids, never been married, then you're spoiled goods or something wrong with you. So, and it just,
if a nigga don't make six figures, it ain't enough. We get the same thing.
Yes, but I'm talking specific to age and finding a forever mate. People are coming at Vivica Fox because now she's like, okay, now I want to find my person, and she's like, I think she maybe in her 60s. Is she late 50s?
And guess what? She's gonna be fine. She's gonna be fine.
But I think your options do start to kind of limit a little bit more, and you have to be more accepting to a lot more stuff than if you were able to get a foundation with somebody and build. I would love to be like in my 60s to be like, you remember when we were 30 and and just have those long-term memories and stuff like that. I think, but I mean, to just add to speak to your point, yes, relationships end often, and some relationships that should end don't, and are very toxic. People are drawn to, opposites attract, and sometimes it's not good. It's not a good attraction. And so, yes, I think there should be more. People should have a better sense of like their compatibility with others, and I think we would see better, more successful relationships if people were choosing more compatible partners and not being selfish with certain aspects that they just find amazing, and then chopping off all the other red flags,
right? And
then the relationship blows up at the end. But I think it's just a conversation.
Yeah, I think that we're also making the same point on different sides of it. It's not pessimistic to be realistic. I think that both of us kind of made that that comparison based on relationships, working or ending, and you saying like the getting older and options limiting. So I think there's definitely, like you said, a conversation. But that conversation has to end, unfortunately, and we got to get up out of here. Extra long episode today, which means next week's
you got to sacrifice.
Might be a little quick, but as always, I've been Patrick Cloud.
And I'm Persephanii.
See you next week, guys.
Bye.